Are you planning a trip to the Smokies? Whether you're staying in a cabin on a mountaintop or a hotel down on the Parkway, in an RV at the KOA, or the family tent in Elkmont, whether you enjoy walking the busy streets of Gatlinburg or a quiet trail in Greenbrier, if your idea of fun is speeding down on a mountain coaster or a vista view from a mountain summit, then this podcast is for you. I'm Chuck Schmidt, and I'm the Outsider. From moonshine to pancakes, from your wedding day to a family reunion, we're here to make your visit more enjoyable, more memorable, sharing with you more of the Smokies. So if your idea of the perfect park is Dollywood or the Great Smoky Mountains themselves, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get started. But first things first, don't feed the bears. Hello everyone, I am Chuck Schmidt and I am the Outsider. This episode, we're going to go a little bit to the west. We're going to talk about Wears Valley, we're going to talk about Townsend, and we're going to talk about Cades Cove in a little more detail than what we've done in the past. Now, Wears Valley is the area that's an unincorporated community. It's in Sevier County. It runs parallel with the Great Smoky Mountains, bordering on Pigeon Forge. Named after Samuel Ware, a Revolutionary War veteran who erected a fort near the entrance to Ware Cove, which is now Pigeon Forge. Now, back in 2016, the Great Smoky Mountain wildfire mainly affected the towns of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, but many cabins did burn down in the very northern part of Wears Valley. This happened after the downed power line ignited the dried leaves and such up in Little Cove Gap. This isolated fire spread quickly, and it consumed the surrounding structures and towards the northern end of Wears Valley. Around 40 homes were destroyed, and another 40 homes were damaged on Hideaway Mountain and Dogwood Farms Mountain. Now, as far as Wears Valley, because there are a lot of people who run cabins up in that area, there are a lot of things to do, and there are a lot of places to dine up in Wears Valley. So let's just hit on the most popular ones right now. There are two really good mountain coasters up in that area. There's the Smoky Mountains Alpine Coaster. I guess you would probably call Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster the granddaddy of mountain coasters in the Smokies. It was the first coaster to open in the Smokies back in 2003. They have the claim to the longest downhill ride in the United States with over 1 mile of track. The vehicles are designed to carry 2 passengers in comfort, but they can easily be handled by 1. The riders are in control of the velocity. Now, these carts travel up to 30 miles an hour, but this does give you a unique hands-on experience. Rain, snow, sunshine, all of these are no problem. The excellent braking effect is unchanged in all weather conditions, so you can ride this coaster year-round. And if you want a really unique experience, come back and ride this coaster during the night. It's truly unforgettable. And that's Smoky Mountains Alpine Coaster. Now, also out in Wears Valley is the coaster on Goats on the Roof. Again, measuring almost a mile in length, reaching top speeds of nearly 30 miles an hour. The coaster at Goats on the Roof offers thrills for all ages. And because you, the passenger, again, are in control of the brake, you can make the experience as tame or as hair-raising as you're comfortable with. Each cart is designed to carry 2 passengers. Once your sled is transported to the top of the mountain, gravity takes over for a winding, twisty 4,375-foot journey to the bottom. Along the way, you're going to enjoy gorgeous mountain views and one of the smoothest but wildest 7-minute rides in town. At Goats on the Roof, they also have a gem mine. That's a great way for the whole family to spend time together, share a few smiles, and possibly uncover a very special souvenir for you to keep. It's the only gem mine in the area that has live goats living on the roof for their family-friendly attraction. You can feed the goats if you like. And if you're a sucker for the sweet stuff, you're in luck because they have a selection of homemade fudges, cookies, ice cream, sure to leave with a smile on your face. And that's at Coasters at Goats on the Roof. Now, if you really like the Alpine Coasters, here's a plug for our sponsor cabin. Dancing Barefoot at dancingbarefoot.com, they have a blog, and one of their blog posts that they did was for all the mountain coasters in the Smoky Mountains. So if you want to read about each one of the coasters, they also have video links to each one of the coaster rides so you can see what the rides actually look like. Again, check that out. That's at dancingbarefoot.com. Click on their blog post and just look that up as one of the blog posts that they put up there. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to the show. Now, Wears Valley also has the Wears Valley Zipline Adventures. If you're looking for an adventure, this is on 43 private, unspoiled forested acres with unmatched views of Mount LeConte and the Smoky Mountains National Park. They have 5 zip lines, over 1 mile of cable, a total of 5,400 linear feet of zip line divided into 5 separate lines. The line lengths are 300 up to 2,000, called a roller coaster. They have a 5-line zipline course. They have a 6-line zipline course that adds one more line and increases the total length to 6,200 linear feet. And then they have the 8-line zipline course, which adds their 2 fastest lines and increases the total length to 7,600 linear feet. That's nearly 1.5 miles. This is the ultimate zipline course in the area, and that's at the Wears Valley Zipline Adventures. If you're looking for a fun family experience, then check out Friendly Falls Gem Mine. Once upon a time at Friendly Falls, there was a troll named Toby. He had a magic kitchen where all kinds of words and ordinary river rocks were baked into his magic oven and turned into beautiful gemstones. Then one day, a magic gnome named Norbert came to the falls. He and Toby knew that despite their differences, if they worked together, they could build a magic gem mine and bring fun and joy to everyone they met. Miners are welcome to grab a bucket up at the store, take it down to the peaceful creekside mining flume, scoop your sand into the sifting box, put it in the rushing water of the flume, shake it around, and see what kind of beautiful gemstones for you to take home. That's at Friendly Falls Gem Mine. Now, here is something that's completely different. This is the AK Virtual Arms Training Center. This is an adventure and experience that's appropriate for all ages and skill levels. They take you places you cannot go on a regular gun range with a focus on safety first. You're going to challenge your mind as well as your handgun grip. You're going to experience what a police officer experiences as far as encountering a bad guy, take part in handgun competition, or you can start from the beginning and learn the basics in a safe, comfortable environment. And here's the thing, there are no live rounds. This is all virtual. It's all a virtual experience. So, as I said, something completely different for you and your family. That's at AK Virtual Arms Training. Next is the Foothills Parkway. Now, I know hiking and these other attractions isn't everyone's passion, and driving through the park is a great way to see the amazing scenery the Smokies have to offer. And now there's a new way to see the Smokies that no one can afford to miss. And it's the newly completed section of the Foothills Parkway. This section just opened, and it runs from Wears Valley on the east to Wallen, Tennessee on the west. Now, getting to the Foothills Parkway is easy. If you're like most people, you'll be heading out from Pigeon Forge or Sevierville. You're going to take Wears Valley Road west. You're going to travel a few miles, and you're going to see a sign marking the entrance to the Foothills Parkway on your right. Keep in mind, once you get on the parkway, there's no exit until you get to Townsend. So there are no restrooms, no gas stations, no anything. So keep that in mind. The Foothills Parkway sort of parallels US 321, but at a much higher elevation. If you're a person who really likes driving and twists and the turns of a scenic mountain road, you're going to love this parkway. I will guarantee this is going to be a must-drive for the motorcyclists and the sports car enthusiasts who enjoy coming out and driving the tail of the dragon. Of course, the pavement on this is brand new and it's perfectly smooth. I drive a Mazda, and this road is an absolute blast. I'm not encouraging speeding by any means, but if you have a car that handles well, you're really going to appreciate this road. Now, the scenery. Getting back to the main attraction of this for everyone is the scenery. There are plenty of places to pull over and enjoy the view. But near the middle, just before the Missing Links Bridges starts, pull off, and that one offers one of the best views of the Smokies. Pictures don't do this justice. It's something you really have to see for yourself. Just the side-to-side expanse of the park, it's absolutely spectacular. Where Newfound Gap gives you a view, that's the depth of view. The Foothills Parkway offers you that panoramic, the breadth of view, and it's just incredible. I can only imagine what this is going to look like with the fall colors. It's going to be simply breathtaking. So take a look. This is the Foothills Parkway. Now, as far as Wears Valley area and the Smoky Mountains National Park, what is interesting is that there's kind of a secret back entrance that takes you from Wears Valley into Smoky Mountains National Park. A lot of people don't know that, but that is there. And once you get in there, over there, you're going to come in by the Metcalf Bottoms area. In there is the Walker Sister Spring House. Now, John Walker, a Union Army veteran, and his wife Margaret moved onto a homestead in 1870, and over the years his family grew to 11 kids. They expanded their cabin and made several improvements to their farm. At one point, the homestead consisted of several outbuildings, including a barn, a blacksmith shop, an apple house, a spring house, a smokehouse, a pig pen, corn crib, a small tub mill. But today, only the cabin, the spring house, and the corn crib survive on the site. In 1909, the Walkers deeded the land to their youngest son, Giles, and his 5 daughters. Now, the 5 spinster sisters, there's a word you don't hear anymore, spinster, they lived here and they refused to sell the 123-acre farm to the national park. and they were able to maintain their traditional mountain life all the way up until the 1960s. Pretty fascinating story, but it's an even more amazing cabin to go in and tour when you take a look at what's on the inside of this and how things like newspapers were used as insulation. Just fascinating how people lived and how some of them lived all the way up to the 1960s. Very, very fascinating. Again, that's the Walker Sister Spring House. Now, if you like hiking, here's an easy trail for you. This is the Metcalf Bottoms Trail. It's 1.2 miles. Now, the trail begins at 1,700 feet, and it only gains 100 feet from start to finish. However, it is important to note that this trail is not a gradual ascent, but it's a combination of ascents and descents. And now, although this isn't strenuous, I am going to warn you that there will be an uphill climb required both ways on this round-trip hike. An uphill ascent begins at just over 1/10 of a mile, and you're going to notice a combination of natural landscapes and old historic landmarks. After topping the hill, the trail descends downward again with 3 split log footbridges near the 1/2 mile mark. Once you cross the 3 footbridges, you're going to arrive at the Little Greenbrier School. This is a small log cabin. It's located at the end of the Metcalf Bottoms Trail, and it's open for touring. The cabin was built in 1882 and was used as a schoolhouse and a church for more than 50 years. And although this is more than a century old, the tiny structure still contains the old blackboard and the desks that were used by the small kids in the Little Greenbrier community many years ago. On certain days throughout the year, visitors can even sit in on a living history lesson that's still offered at the school. And again, that is the Metcalf Bottoms Trail, and that's the Little Greenbrier School. Now, you can also go hiking on the Little Brier Gap Trail. This is 2.6 miles, 3.17 difficulty rating. Now, this is the first time listening to the show. Let me go over this again. When it comes to difficulty ratings, 0 to 5 is considered easy, 5 to 10 is considered moderate, anything over 10 is considered strenuous. So keep that in mind when I mention difficulty ratings. But Little Brier Gap, 2.6 miles, 3.17 difficulty rating. It's very easy. It's a very pleasant hike. And at points, you're going to look out on Ware Valley on one side, and you're going to look on the other side into the park. Just a beautiful, beautiful way to spend an afternoon or an early morning. That's the Little Brier Gap Trail. All right, let's talk about dining in Wares Valley, and you do have a selection. One of the more popular places is Elvira's Cafe. This is a cozy, comfy, very friendly restaurant. Serves great food, and it's reasonably priced. They have a Mountain Man omelet. It's a 3-egg omelet filled with sausage, applewood bacon, ham, cheddar cheese, roasted bell peppers. Absolutely sounds delicious, and that's the Mountain Man omelet. They also have a Tennessee haystack, which is an open-faced biscuit, ham, 2 eggs fixed your way, topped with gravy. They also have a selection of crepes, French toast, hotcakes. Now, one thing that I like mentioning on each one of these podcasts is when I find something that's cool, funky, chic, different. I love talking about those places because that's where those are the places that I like going to. I do not talk about the chains, so you're not going to hear me talk about Shoney's, Dunkin' Donuts, Sonic, any of those places. I always like to talk about the locals. But if you're looking for something cool, funky, rustic, and chic, then the Mountain Chick Cafe, home of Doc's Donuts, this is the place to go in Wares Valley. And they probably have the best logo in the Smokies, which is a chicken playing a banjo, but it's very cool. I love these places. They have a big breakfast biscuit, both bacon and sausage, fried eggs, cheddar cheese on a fresh-made biscuit. If you're under your keto diet, they do have a keto casserole, sausage, eggs, secret spices, 2 cheeses that absolutely combine for a mouth-watering treat without any kind of carb guilt. Caution you, they only make 1 a day, so when it's gone, so order early. And as far as donuts go, they have a delicious variety of your favorite yeast-raised donuts made from scratch daily, like maple frosted with bacon, a peaches and cream that looks out of this world. They're available every day except Sundays. And that's at Mountain Chick Cafe, home of Doc's Donuts. Now, there's also Grandmother's Kitchen, great little place, southern home cooking. They're only open for breakfast and lunch, but they have a country fried steak with biscuits that people rave about, pancakes, eggs. Don't miss their pine nut coconut cake. That sounds absolutely outstanding. Next up is Hillbilly's Restaurant. I love unique eateries, and this is one of them. There's an old truck that sits right inside the restaurant. It's got a very creative menu. I'll give that to them, and this place does not disappoint when it comes to that. Cat's Eggs and Eggs, whatever that is. Egg sandwiches, Aunt Bessie's rolled up eggs, plus pancakes, French toast, etc. Looks like a really unique place, and that's at Hillbilly's Restaurant. Now, as far as lunch goes, there are a couple of places. There's Bob's Burgers. Now, Bob's Burgers is a really cool, cozy 1950s atmosphere. Amazing burgers. They've got floats, sundaes, hot dogs. That's at Bob's Burgers. And then you have Boss Hogg's Barbecue. This place is laid back, down-home barbecue. They specialize in providing the highest quality slow-cooked meats, including hand-pulled pork shoulder barbecue, smoked chicken, smoked pork spare ribs, smoked kielbasa sausage, and tender slow-smoked beef brisket. Sounds delicious. That's at Boss Hogg's Barbecue. Now, as far as dinner in Wears Valley, there are several different places. There's Pawpaw's Catfish Kitchen. This is the ultimate destination restaurant for fresh, homemade New Orleans-style cooking. Authentic Cajun cuisine with down-home hospitality, serving Cajun Creole, seafood, po' boys, grilled barbecue, gumbo, jambalaya, red beans and rice, and much, much more. And don't forget to save room for the specialty of the house, New Orleans white chocolate bread pudding. Oh my. That's at Pawpaw's Catfish Kitchen. Next up, Stonehouse Pizza. This is a low-key, contemporary eat-in or take-out pizza parlor featuring pizza, subs, salads. That's at Stonehouse Pizza. And then finally, Geppetto's Restaurant. Family-friendly Italian restaurant serving pizza, pasta, subs, and desserts with outdoor picnic tables. Geppetto's features a large dining room with views of Cove Mountain. It's a family-fun restaurant. It has a simple fare like subs and pizza, and of course a full-course dining room menu with dishes like lasagna, spaghetti, as well as chicken parmesan. It's good food, good people, and that's at Geppetto's Restaurant. Now, moving a little further west lies the town of Townsend. Townsend lies on the side of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, referred to as the peaceful side of the Smokies. It's renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life, as well as preservation of southern Appalachian culture. Townsend is one of 3 gateways into the Smoky Mountains National Park. It has several museums and attractions relating to the natural and the human history of the Great Smoky Mountains. Townsend has the least traffic of the 3 main entrances into the national park. The park's other 2 entrances, the one just south of Gatlinburg, Sugarlands, and the other one is just north of Cherokee in North Carolina. They're home to multiple commercial attractions that draws millions of tourists annually. Townsend, on the other hand, is low-key, handful of inexpensive restaurants and motels, several businesses geared towards outdoor sports, and a world-renowned horse show. Just some brief history on Townsend. In 1900, hoping to capitalize on the thick virgin forests of the Smokies, Colonel W.B. Townsend of Pennsylvania purchased 86,000 acres of land along the Little River, stretching from the Cades Cove all the way to Clingman's Dome. The following year, Townsend received a charter for his new firm, the Little River Lumber Company. He had a bandsaw mill erected in Tuckaleechee, and the community then developed around the mill was named after him. The Little River Railroad was constructed shortly thereafter, connecting the sawmill with Wallen to the west, and following the Little River upstream to Elkmont to the southeast. Now, Townsend quickly profited from the forest and the Little River bottomlands. Townsend's success led to a rapid expansion of logging operations throughout the Smokies. By the time the park was formed in the 1930s, and this is staggering, nearly 2/3 of the area's forests have been cut down. Thankfully, park managers have worked to restore the forests. Now, the rapid destruction of the forests of southern Appalachian during that period led to increased efforts by conservationists to slow or halt logging operations. Colonel Townsend initially opposed the effort, but after some wavering, sold 76,000 acres of his Little River lumber tract in 1926 to what would eventually become the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Although some predicted that the loss of the lumber industry would doom the Tuckaleechee area, the explosion of tourism as a result of the park's founding has contributed to the area's economy and keeping it relatively healthy. Now, as far as attractions in Townsend, Tuckaleechee Caverns is a massive cave and cavern system. The Big Room is the largest cave cavern that is open to the public in the eastern United States, and you could almost fit an entire football stadium inside. Many stalagmites reach over 24 feet tall, and flowstone formations over hundreds of feet in length and width. Tuckaleechee Caverns is proud to have the tallest underground waterfall in the eastern United States, named Silver Falls. It's a 210-foot, 2-tier waterfall. If you're going to tour the caverns, be prepared for going up and down flights of stairways and a little bit of uneven terrain. The caverns are open March 15th through November 15th. Next up is the Next to Heaven Adventure, which is zip lines and horseback riding. You can zip from mountain to mountain on 3 separate zip lines ranging from 1,000 feet to up to a quarter mile. They also offer beautiful, scenic, unguided horseback riding in the Smokies. The unguided horseback ride trip up the mountain is absolutely beautiful. The view from the top is breathtaking. This is a true trail ride. Now, if the unguided part concerns you, they do have guides available that can take you and your party up to the top. That's a Next to Heaven adventure. Next up, the Little River Railroad and Lumber Company Museum. The Townsend in the Smokies Chamber of Commerce established a nonprofit organization to found the Little River Railroad and Lumber Company Museum in 1982. A Shea engine that had been used in the logging days, number 2147, was restored for the project. The depot at Walland was moved to Townsend, and memorabilia was collected from the days of the railroad and the lumber operations. Today, the Little River Railroad and Lumber Company Museum still seeks to preserve the history of life on the Little River. The larger artifacts, including the Shea 2147, a vintage caboose, L&N Class NE Little Woody, 2 vintage flat cars, a portable Frick steam engine, and one of the original set-off houses used for logging families in mountains, and a wooden water tank that was used in Walland, and a log loader are all displayed on the grounds. Fascinating place to go tour. This is the Little River Railroad and Lumber Company. Next is the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center. The Heritage Center interprets and shares the history and the culture of the diverse peoples and Native Americans who have inhabited the southern Appalachians, including the Great Smoky Mountains area. In the National Parks Gallery, you can explore the artifacts of Big South Fork, Cumberland Gap, Andrew Johnson, and of course the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The historic village is home to 13 historic buildings that have been furnished according to the period in which they were built. Some of the buildings were deconstructed, transported to the Heritage Center, and then reconstructed for guests to enjoy. Again, this is the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center. Next up is the Townsend Visitor Center. You can stop by and learn about the bevy of different events happening in the little town of Townsend, which, quite frankly, there are quite a few. From a hot air balloon festival to the Grains and Grits, Hops on the Hills, Summer on Broadway, Townsend in the Smokies Heritage Fall Festival, which includes 39 bands on the schedule right now. Wow. The Scottish Festival and Games, Townsend in the Smoky Spring Festival. There are also exhibits on display where local artists set up their works within the Visitor Center. Again, that's the Townsend Visitor Center. Next is the Lily Barn. This is a 100-acre farm in the foothills of the Smokies. They are just about 5 minutes from the Cades Cove entrance to the Great Smoky Mountains. They have a 130-year-old cantilever barn that sits among 3 acres of perennial gardens. In addition to the barn, you can see houses and outdoor gardens and garden gifts. There's an evergreen maze for children of all ages. There's a pond that's filled with water plants and beautiful daylilies and native plants in bloom all around the grounds. That's at the Lily Barn. Now, if you're looking for something a little more water-based, Smoky Mountain River Raft has offered guest tubing adventures on the Little River since 1995. Tubing trips offer plenty of rapids to satisfy your craving for excitement, but the Little River is mellow enough for even the youngest of thrill seekers. They offer both the upper section and the lower sections of the Little River. The lower section and the main outpost is what you would consider the family-friendly float, and it features relaxing rapids, scenic views, even a rock jump. The lower outpost is ideal for ages 2 and up, and for those who are first-timers to the Rat. The upper section is what we like to call the Adventure Float. This features a scenic float with an adrenaline-pumping rapids and cool, refreshing swimming holes. The upper outpost is suitable for ages 6 and older. The Smoky Mountain River Rat is open 7 days, May through Labor Day. The next attraction is very, very near and dear to our hearts here. Appalachian Bear Rescue Visitor and Education Center, ABR for short. Appalachian Bear Rescue does wonderful work in assisting orphaned and injured black bears to be recuperated, healed, and then returned back into the wild. This center allows the Appalachian Bear Rescue to raise awareness for the rehabilitation efforts and also to help raise money through the sale of t-shirts and other items that are available for purchase. So you can come in and see videos featuring a few of the cubs that they have helped since 1999, which is close to 300, I believe the count is. It's darn near that. You can come learn about black bears and how we can all coexist with them. To avoid any confusion, we must make it clear that the Visitors and Education Center is not the rescue facility. Which is never open to the public. Appalachian Bear Rescue does not keep permanent bear residents and never will have live bears on display at the Visitor and Education Center. You may have noticed on the past podcasts that I have never mentioned any facility that does have live bears on display, and there are a number of them around the Smoky Mountains area. That's just something philosophically that we completely disagree with. We do applaud Appalachian Bear Rescue and all that they do as far as rescuing these bears, rehabilitating them, or getting them to the care that they need and releasing them back into the wild. One thing that I would recommend is, if this kind of thing interests you, follow them on Facebook. They have an incredible amount of visitors, and you can follow these little bears from the moment they rescue them through their the care that they receive, and you'll watch them work through the different stages in the rehabilitation center, the different areas to get them reacclimated to being able to be released back into the wild and how to fend for themselves. Absolutely fascinating to follow. And again, on a personal note, and again, I feel like I'm plugging our sponsor cabin, Dancing Barefoot donates a portion from every guest stay to Appalachian Bear Rescue. This is their partnered mission. So we applaud them for that. And they have been recognized as one of the few rental communities worldwide as a star thrower. And it's the only one in Tennessee. And again, it's recognized for their philanthropic work with Appalachian Bear Rescue. So they donate a portion from every guest stay. And then I know that they also donate vacation packages for Appalachian Bear Rescue's Bear Necessities auction that's held every year. And again, if you want to learn more about that and what they do with Appalachian Bear Rescue, you can go to dancingbarefoot.com. It's dancingbarefoot.com. And you can read about their work there and how they do work with Appalachian Bear Rescue. But again, check out the visitor center. Wonderful items in there for purchase, again, to support what they're doing with ABR. Now, as far as the Great Smoky Mountains, hikes and waterfalls that are available in the Townsend area, first up is my favorite hike in the Smokies, and that's Abrams Falls. The path leading from Cades Cove to the waterfall weaves around the ridges that predominate the area, all while roughly following Abrams Creek. The route traverses through pine oak forest along ridgetops while passing through rhododendron and hemlock forest closer to the creek. To me, I think this is arguably one of the most scenic views in the Smokies. It's absolutely beautiful. But I'm going to caution you, Backpacker Magazine has listed this as one of the top 10 most dangerous hikes in America. This pathway is number 9 on this list, and it's most dangerous because the high exposure to drowning and hypothermia hazards. The article cites 29 deaths on this trail since 1971, and almost all of those are as a result of water-related accidents. Abrams Falls themselves, the actual waterfall, is a beautiful, spectacular waterfall. There's a lot of water coming over it, but it almost looks as an invitation for people to go climbing on the waterfall. And this is something that I caution you not to do. There's very dangerous undertows or very dangerous hazards under that waterfall. So please, I urge you, don't tempt fate at Abrams Falls. Be smart out there. Now, this hike is 5.2 miles, 6.55 in difficulty, so it is considered a little bit moderate. But again, this is my favorite hike in the Smokies. I absolutely love it. Next up, Spruce Flat Falls. This is a especially scenic waterfall, and it's one of the most picturesque in the park, in my opinion. Now, despite not being on the official park map, the falls receives a fair amount of visitors, and for good reason. This is an especially scenic waterfall and one of the most picturesque in the park, in my opinion. The waterfall tumbles down a hill in 4 separate tiers. Total drop is roughly about 30 feet, and after landing in a nice-sized pool at the bottom of the falls, the Spruce Flat branch continues for a short distance before spilling into the middle prong of the Little River up near Tremont Road. Again, this is a nice hike. It's pretty simple to do. It's 1.4 miles, 2.32 on the difficulty rating, so this is considered easy. Next up, Schoolhouse Gap Trail. This is an excellent hike if you want to see spring wildflowers. The trail has its share of rhododendron and mountain laurel, which are just beginning to bloom during mid-May. Hiking this trail from July through October, purple ironweed, southern harebell, and sweet Joe pieweed are commonly found along the trail. This is a very pretty trail. It's 3.8 miles, 4.83 in difficulty, so this again is considered easy. Now the next trail is the West Prong Trail. The West Prong Trail is a 5-mile, moderately traveled out and back trail. It features a waterfall. It's considered moderate in difficulty. This trail offers a number of activity options, and it's best suited from March to November. Horses are also able to use this trail, so keep that in mind. Look down when you're walking. It's 5.4 miles, 8.15 on the difficulty rating. Okay, last, Gregory Bald. Gregory Bald is a 10-acre grassy meadow, and it's one of the 2 balds maintained by the Park Service. It's not clear whether the high-elevation meadow was created by nature or whether it was cleared by some early settlers. Without periodic maintenance from the National Park Service, both Andrews Bald and Gregory Bald would both be reclaimed by natural forest growth. The bald is named after Russell Gregory. He was an early settler in the Cades Cove area. He and other Cove residents used the field to graze cattle during the spring and the summer when the fields in the Cove were needed for growing crops. Like most Cades Cove residents, Mr. Gregory supported the Union during the Civil War. However, he was ambushed and murdered in 1863 by Confederate guerrillas from North Carolina. On a clear day, hikers can see Cades Cove and Rich Mountain towards the north, Fontana Lake towards the southeast, and Thunderhead Mountain and Klingman's Dome towards the east. It's a beautiful hike. Gregory Bald is 8.8 miles, 13.4 difficulty rating, so this one is considered strenuous. Next up, Cades Cove. Now, the first European settlers in the Cove arrived sometime between 1818 and 1821. By 1830, the population in the area had swelled to a whopping 271 people. Cades Cove offers the widest variety of historic buildings of any area in the national park. Now, they're scattered along a loop road, and there are 3 churches, a working grist mill, there are barns, log houses, many other faithfully restored 18th and 19th century structures. I would recommend picking up the self-guided tour book available at the entrance. It's only a few dollars, but it's got great information about the buildings you're going to see as you're traveling around the Cove and give you information on the people who live there. Now, touring the Cove. It's an 11-mile one-way loop that circles the Cove, offers motorists an opportunity to sightsee at a leisurely pace. I will caution you to allow at least 2 to 4 hours to tour Cades Cove. It's going to be even longer if you walk some of this, you get out and you hike the area's trails. Traffic is heaviest during the tourist season, no surprise, in the summer and in the fall, and especially on weekends year-round. Driving the loop can be rather frustrating at times. I urge you to please be courteous to other visitors. Use the pullouts when stopping to enjoy the scenery of the wildlife. You'd be stunned how many people just stop their car in the middle of the road to get out and take a picture of a deer or a turkey or a bear. About that, let's stop and talk about the bears for a second. All the time you see pictures of people in Cades Cove getting out of their cars, getting up close to bears, trying to take pictures. Cades Cove is probably one of the best viewing areas to see bears, and that's why a lot of people go there. But there are videos time and time again where you see people just getting way too close to the bears. You can see the bears beginning to get aggravated. You see the bears working in a non-natural state. I urge you, please, stay in your car or stay at a safe distance, which for a bear, any bear, is 50 yards away. That's half a football field away. There's some famous video right now about a family out in Yellowstone getting too close to a bison, and a 9-year-old is tossed up in the air like a rag doll. Well, there's also video from people at Cades Cove in a parking lot area approaching a mother bear and 3 bears, and a tourist actually comes up and fake charges the bear, and you see the bear bluff charge right back at the person. One of these times it's not going to be a bluff charge, and somebody's going to get killed out there. So I urge you, please, if you're going out there to view the bears, stay at a safe distance, stay in your car, stay 50 yards away. If you see other people getting out and doing stupid things, call them out on it. Remind them of what the rules are. And it is 50 yards away. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Sorry about that. Now, Cades Cove, again, it can be absolutely maddening out there with the traffic. So if you're going to go, I encourage everybody, go early in the morning, go late in the day, because during the midday portion of it, it can be very clogged with tourists. Approximately 5 million people a year visit Cades Cove, so that gives you an idea just how much traffic goes through there. Okay, one of the best ways to see Cades Cove, however, is on a bicycle. And only bicycle and foot traffic are allowed on the loop until 10 a.m. every Saturday and Wednesday morning from early May until late September. Otherwise, the road is open to motor vehicles from sunrise to sunset every other day, weather permitting. If you want to do the bike ride, you can rent a bike at the Cades Cove Campground store. The state of Tennessee requires that any children age 16 and under have to wear a helmet. I strongly advise anybody to wear a helmet. If you have mirrors, use mirrors. Make sure that they fit properly and you have a well-maintained bicycle. I rode the Cades Cove Loop a few years ago, and I thought I was in great shape. I had trained just to ride Cades Cove Loop. And for the first half of the loop, you're like a hero. because you're going downhill. The second half of the loop, not so much. There are places where I got off that bike because gravity kicked in and I just came to an absolute halt climbing a hill. And trust me, the words that were coming out of my mouth, there is no bear within 100 yards of me out there that morning. But however, it is a beautiful bike ride, none the same. And if you're in good shape, I would recommend you riding it. It is pretty. It's a great way to see Cades Cove. Cades Cove is home to a lot of wildlife: white-tailed deer, black bears, coyotes, turkeys, and other wildlife. They're all frequently spotted in Cades Cove. If you hate sitting in Cades Cove loop traffic and you like doing a little bit of hiking, then Rich Mountain Loop Trail might just be what you're looking for. It might be the perfect hike for enjoying the beauty of Cades Cove without wasting any time sitting in the gridlock. And the best thing is on those Wednesday and Saturday mornings, the Rich Mountain Loop Trail is easily accessible from the parking lot. It's only about, 50, 100 feet to the trailhead from the first gate to Cades Cove on the loop, over on the right-hand side. It's beautiful. During the first leg of the hike, you're going to pass by one of the meadows that makes Cades Cove one of the most popular destinations in the entire park system. During late spring, these meadows are carpeted with wildflowers such as black-eyed Susans, butterfly weeds, jewelweed and daisies, among many other varieties. It's just beautiful. At just 1.4 miles, you're going to reach the John Oliver cabin. John Oliver was a veteran of the War of 1812. He and his wife and their young children arrived at Cades Cove in 1818, and they were among the first homesteaders to settle the area. The cabin dates from the 1820s, and it's one of the oldest structures in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. If you're simply looking for an easy hike in the Cades Cove area, then this would be a good place to turn around. If you're looking for the wildflowers that make this trail famous, then proceed further around the loop. In fact, the Rich Mountain Loop may have the most diverse amount of wildflowers that you're going to find in the Smokies. It's 8.5 miles, 11.97 on the difficulty rating, but as I said, there are different places where you can turn around on this trail, so it does not need to be as strenuous as it needs to be. And again, that's the Rich Mountain Loop Trail. Now, one other thing about Cades Cove is when you're driving the loop, if you're really getting frustrated with traffic, as I said, it's 11-mile, one-way loop all around. But there are two, I don't know what you would call them, cut-throughs or shortcuts. Sparks Lane is right after you begin, and then the other one is Hyatt Lane. And at either one of those points, you can take a left and then shoot to the other side of the one-way section coming out. Again, I encourage you to get a map, but keep that in mind that there are two shortcuts to go from one side of the loop to the other if traffic is just getting you that frustrated. On the very far end of the loop is the Cable Mill Area's Visitor Center. Restrooms, gift shops are over in that area, and that's also the trailhead area for Abrams Falls. And again, that wraps up Cades Cove. Now, as far as breakfast in the Townsend area, and you do have a selection of breakfasts here. Let's start out at Apple Valley Cafe. For breakfast lovers, start your day with fresh coffee and delicious double stack of pancakes loaded with your favorite toppings from their Pancakes Topping Bar. Or try the Breakfast of Champions with scrambled eggs and fried apple pie. Plenty of breakfast sandwiches available on the menu, and that's at the Apple Valley Cafe. If you're really into coffee, then the Artistic Bean. Their passion is coffee, and you're going to know it the minute you step through the door. Their journey of quality service begins with small batch roasting of their specially grade coffee beans. That journey continues into the coffee house and passes into the hands of the skilled baristas for you to experience coffee and espresso at the highest quality. They also have a few baked items available, and that's at the Artistic Bean. The Riverstone Family Restaurant, not overly fancy, but really outstanding food. Huge portions, omelets, pancakes, French toast. Try the Smoky Mountain Mash. It's one home-style biscuit topped with 2 sausage patties, white pepper gravy, and then 2 eggs on top. That sounds delicious. That's at the Riverstone Family Restaurant. Carriage House. Many patrons recommend a breakfast bar. They have eggs, potatoes, pancakes. They also have menu items such as omelets. That's at the Carriage House. Now, the Chocolate Bar this is a branch of the Lily Barn that I talked about earlier. They offer a large, inviting space to just sit around, read a book, search the internet, or just gossip with friends. Their huge stone fireplace is extremely cozy on cold winter days, and the leather couches provide a comfortable respite for relaxation. Since they open at 8:30 in the morning, you can check them out for fresh pastries, quiches, muffins, or a breakfast sandwich. They sell brownies, bar cookies, cakes, truffles. They have a full listing of hot coffee drinks, cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, Americanos, and of course good old American coffee as well. They also have frappuccinos. This is Townsend's answer to Starbucks. as well as serving hot chocolate. The proof is in the taste. Did we mention smoothies? That's right, they also make smoothies. Green tea smoothies, mango smoothies, berry smoothies. And these are a display of art in their purest form, all made with ice and yogurt. And that's at the Chocolate Bar. Now, lunch in Townsend, we do have several different places. There's the Black Bear Cafe, homemade soups, burgers, fish, fried bologna sandwiches, huge portions. There's Smoky Joe's Barbecue. That's pork, chicken, brisket, ribs, sandwiches. It's all here at Smoky Joe's. Make sure when you go there, try the hog fries. They sound really good. Now, a really cool place to go is the Burger Master Drive-In. They have burgers, patty melts, sandwiches, hot dogs, all in a 1950s style drive-in. Don't miss their ice cream creations also. Shakes, malts, sundaes, flurries. And they also have a special treat for your dog. A dab of ice cream on a milk bone. That's at the Burger Master Drive-In. Last, Misty Morning Cafe. Burgers, hot dogs, salads, fried bologna, beef slaw sandwiches. Oh, sounds great. That's at the Misty Morning Cafe. Now, if we're going out to dinner in Townsend, we do have a few selections here also. Brianna's Italian Restaurant. It's what you would expect. Lasagna, ravioli, chicken Alfredo, manicotti, chicken parmesan, plus pizza. New York style. Well, nobody's perfect. They also have salads, hot and cold subs, plus gyros, tiramisu, cannolis, and cheesecake for dessert. Yum. Okay, that was a cheap shot at their New York-style pizza, but being from Chicago, I'm sorry. You're not going to get me to start enjoying New York pizza, which is really close to ketchup on a paper towel, in my opinion. If it doesn't require a fork and a knife, it's not a pizza. Or, if you can fold it up and put it in your pocket for later, yeah, that's not a pizza. Okay, moving on. Monte Real Mexican Restaurant. This is a Tex-Mex. Their menu offers tacos, burritos, nachos, enchiladas, combo platter, sandwiches, and salads. Next up, again, I said before, as you know, I love unique, funky, cool eateries. And again, the Abbey is one of those. Local craft brews are the highlight. They have a limited menu, but it won't disappoint you. Flatbread pizza, pulled pork, chicken wraps, corn dogs, wings. The beer, cheese, and pretzels look delicious. Kick back, play some cornhole, listen to some music, or just chill. And that's at the Abbey. Last but not least, and this is probably the one restaurant that Townsend is famous for, and that is the Trailhead Steak and Trout House. Whether you're in the mood for a good steak or craving a platter of seafood, you're sure to find that meal at the Trailhead Steak and Trout House, and it'll definitely satisfy your appetite. You can choose from a selection of steaks and burgers as well as seafood like fish and shrimp. For something a little lighter, they also have salads and soups. But they're famous for their sirloins, ribeyes, fillets, rainbow trout, catfish, shrimp. One thing I will recommend is I strongly advise making reservations for this place. It's extremely busy, and that's for a good reason. And that's for the Trailhead Steak and Trout House in Townsend. Now, finally, if it's late at night or in the evening and we're looking for some tasty treats, then let's head back to the Burger Master Drive-In for shakes, malts, sundaes, flurries. And again, that special treat for your dog, a dab of ice cream on a milk bone. The Apple Valley Cafe has fried apple pies, ice cream, fudge, cinnamon ice cream. That sounds delicious. And finally, the Little River Village Fudge Kitchen and Sweet Shop. They have fudge and hand-dipped ice cream cones, cookies available, all kinds of sweets. That's the Little River Village Fudge Kitchen and Sweet Shop. Well, that wraps it up for Wears Valley, Townsend, and Cades Cove. Hopefully you got some useful information out of this. As always, I please ask, if you like the podcast, if you could please give us a star rating on Apple Podcast. If you're feeling really generous, please write us a review. It helps other people be able to find this podcast a little bit easier. Other than that, I want to thank you for listening. As always, along with our friends at Appalachian Bear Rescue, please remember, a fed bear is a dead bear. Please don't feed the bears. Thanks for listening. An Outsider's Guide to the Smoky Mountains was brought to you by Dancing Barefoot Cabin. If you're looking for a log cabin lodging experience beyond the ordinary, then Dancing Barefoot Cabin is for you. Conveniently located in between Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Explore the possibilities at dancingbarefoot.com. That's dancingbarefoot, BEARFOOT.com. Pizza Bear illustration by Kenton Visser. Music by Jay Denton.